Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back here with another video. Um, this one a bit later than planned. I did plan to do this on Tuesday, but today being a Thursday for anyone who watches in the future. But yeah, so this basically is continuing on from my list of ideas for empowerment and areas of potential empowerment for Indigenous people of the Americas, including young people, women, men, people of all ages, basically, and backgrounds, but especially young people, and especially females of all ages, really, and in particular girls and the youth, basically, as well. Anyway, I can't think of too much else to say. And in fact, it was really cloudy out there, and I'm glad the sky seems to be getting a bit more blue. So anyway, hope you enjoy this video as ever, as I always hope. And here goes. So yeah, so continuing on, as I say, from part 1, this list is from part 11 to 20. So as I say, hope you enjoy it, and I really appreciate if you give me some likes and shares of the video and anything else you can do to support my channel. My videos will be really gratefully appreciated, and in the future I hope to do a lot for this channel. Mainly is for a charity, as well as become independent myself as well, but also hopefully to have a bit of fun and hopefully cheer people up and make the world a better place, all being well. I'll do my best anyway, so hopefully it can improve as I go along. So here goes. Anyway, number 11, I dream to one day help, or ASAP really help Indigenous people from the Americas, all over the Americas, to have their own tourism industry, so they can benefit from tourism, like their own centres where people can go and find out about their culture, way of life, issues they face, or anything else that would be run by Indigenous people from the Americas, so that they can benefit from it, but also have their own. So it wouldn't be run by other people who are not Indigenous to the Americas, so they could talk about their culture and the history and the challenges they face from their own point of view, and hopefully benefit from it financially as much as possible. Although they could be sponsors and other people who might benefit a little bit, but hopefully most of the benefits would go to the Indigenous people of the Americas. Number 12, again, I hope to, as I said before, I hope to encourage projects like YouTubers, TikTokers, and again to make money from tourism, YouTube, and all sorts of revenues, and also like to support Indigenous people from the Americas in politics, like maybe 10% of the politicians, police, legal team, or people who work within the law, whatever you call them, like lawyers, solicitors, judges, and people like that, being Indigenous from those countries. And again, I'd love to do that all over the Americas, and maybe even like 10% of the property, land, or even wealth or GDP could go towards Indigenous people from the Americas as well, from each country specifically. And there could be perhaps a list of the top countries that have supported, maybe the top 10 or whatever countries that have supported their Indigenous communities. Like if Canada does something positive for their Indigenous communities, then perhaps they could be acknowledged for doing so, and maybe that could put pressure on other countries such as America and Brazil, Argentina, and places like that, supporting excuse me, their Indigenous communities as well. And number 13, again, hope for them to support to benefit from their own creepypastas, stories, urban legends, or whatever, and that sort of thing, and also address some of the problems and issues facing Indigenous people from the Americas. Number 14, on that note, to fundraise for healthcare and basically look at how to solve problems facing or plaguing the Indigenous communities of the Americas, like poverty or alcoholism or whatever other problems they face, and looking at how to solve those problems and what are the best ways to support them, like financially or whatever other ways that can be supported. As I say, fundraising for them and listening to them and that sort of thing. Number 15, talking about the Indigenous youth and empowering the Indigenous youth of the Americas, again from all possible parts of the Americas. I think it'd be great to listen to them and listen to their aspirations, dreams, goals, plans, hopes for the future, and that sort of thing, and look at how to help them in areas like STEM. Once again, STEM stands for science, tech, engineering, and maths, and also other areas, maybe learning about things like farming or business generally, how to run a business, how to create a business plan, especially young girls and boys from reservations in America and again across the Americas, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Peru, Chile, and the rest of the Americas. My geography is not that great, so I don't know. As I said before, like I don't know how many countries there are in the Americas. Number 16, as ever, I'd love to hear from Indigenous people of the Americas, especially, but also people around the world about what are the best ways to support them, what rights or what human rights and freedoms and things like you think Indigenous people from the Americas should have, what political support you think they should have, for instance, like tax cuts and financial support and things like that. What do you think would be a fair way to support them, and what human rights and political support do you think they should have, and that sort of thing. So I'd love to, as I said before, like see more Indigenous people from the Americas in the police. I don't think they should join the military, in my opinion. I know I've talked about it before, but I think to me, for Indigenous people from the Americas to join a military of people who took over them, ran by people who took over their countries, to take over other countries, especially like countries like America, which are often involved in wars, excuse me, I think is not the best idea in my opinion. But again, I don't want to offend anyone. These are just my personal opinions. 17, I'd love to hear from, as I say, Indigenous people's stories, Indigenous people of America's stories, not necessarily just scary stories, but like there could be stories about positive things as well, and stories that make people happy, and talking about nature and their quotes and wisdom and things like that, and also like what their views are about how to look after animals, how to look after nature, how to make the world a better place and things like that. Number 18, sorry to repeat myself, but again, I'd love to hear from like positive things about Indigenous communities across the Americas, like how they looked after nature, how they survived in spite of against all the odds, and their resilience, their power and strength and all that sort of thing, as corny as that might sound. Number 19, again, I'd love to help Indigenous people in areas where I think Indigenous people from the Americas, in areas where I think it will be really important, like STEM. People say like nearly 3/4 of jobs, about 70% of jobs will be, or careers even, will be dependent on STEM, science, tech, engineering, maths, in some capacity. So I think that it would be really good to see projects helping Indigenous people of the Americas in STEM across the Americas, especially, as I said before, like young boys and girls, especially female empowerment, fempowerment, as I call it, like helping more girls into STEM as well from Indigenous communities across America, but also like people of all different ages and backgrounds from the Indigenous communities, basically, to work together. And number 20, again, I'll try not to repeat too many points, but I hope that I'll come up with some new points. And as ever, I'd love to hear what you think. And please don't hold back any ideas or feedback. And I'm out. Peace out.